I'm the youngest amongst all of you as far as endoscopy journey is concerned. I started doing my cases 2.5 years ago, and after I visited PC Day, sir. So I had my fair bit of challenges, and starting Destandau endoscopy is not an easy job, I'll say. I was well versed in my open spinal procedures, and I was doing arthroscopy. I had a good hold on my triangulation. Yet in my first case, I had ruptured my dura. That killed my overzealous confidence. I think I showed this in my last MISSABCON as well. So that was the time I should have given up this procedure. But I had a word that day with Day sir, and he convinced me to keep going ahead. So there is no denial that even for a well-trained ortho-neuro-spine surgeons who are doing very versatilely good in open procedures, that you can get onto it very easily. There is a learning curve, whether it's transforaminal, whether it's interlaminar, or whether it's UBE. So you'll have to spend quite some time before you get the knack of it. So regarding the challenges, how you can tide through your initial treacherous path, don't do multi-level cases initially. It's very common in our setting, especially when you are practicing alone in periphery, that you wait for a single level right case for you and you don't get one, and then your patient gives up and you choose a multi-level case. And that's the blunder I did. PC Day sir started with multi-level case as well, but then he was at a different level. His capacity and his capability were different than mine, and I failed miserably as I showed in my first case. So I had no depth perception there. I was not able to see anatomy. I was not able to find my lamina. So yes, don't take multi-level cases initially, and if you happen to do so, choose the most impactful of all your levels so that you have a more rewarding outcome, a shorter surgical time initially. And of course, you'll have to counsel that to your patient that he may need a surgical intervention, a repeat surgical intervention in remote or near future. Lysis, yes, they do lysis pretty frequently in stable grade 1, grade 2. But again, when you are beginning, don't take up these cases because a decompression is quite a bit tough in these cases. The anatomy is a bit distorted. I know many of the people who are proponents of fusion will say that these cases are more apt for maybe UB and all. But when these patients come to you after having 10 years of low backache and it's the acute radiculopathy and claudication which is troubling them, I think we can offer Destandau decompression well in these cases. And I think Dr. Rohidas and all have a series of cases with long-term follow-up where Destandau decompression is done well in these kind of cases. So how to approach in the beginning? Many a times MRI and radiculopathy or clinical symptoms don't correlate, so you have to choose aptly, especially when you are selecting the most impactful, a single level in your multi-level case. Standing on the left is easier than the right, and I think that's how the Destandau system was designed. I faced challenges when I was operating on the right initially, but I think it's getting a bit less with time. So be on the left in comparison to right if you have a bilateral disc or a stenosis or a symptomatology in the beginning. Mark your level rightly. If your trajectory is wrong, as you can see, I have localized L5S1 in both the pecs, but the one on the right is wrong. So if I try to go in wrong, my trajectory is wrong, I'm not going to be very comfortable in taking my bone bites, angling my garrison, and at times my disc forces can even hit end plates. So choose your trajectory right. To be very truthful, I never did discectomy in my first 15-20 cases, especially after my blunder in first. I went stepwise. My first aim was always to do a unilateral laminotomy and do piecemeal flavectomy. Then I went on to do foraminotomy, over the top decompression, and then finally discectomy. And the last was cauterizing my epidural bleeders. So I progressed stepwise. I have never done discectomy in the first, but then now I'm getting more and more comfortable with this. Regarding dexterity, yes, it does improve with time. How you localize your landmarks, how you locate your superior inferior lamina, how you place your cottonoid, how much pressure to put, how to protect your dura and nerve roots, how to expose your discectomy window, how to dissect phlebum piecemeal and then in toto. I've been trying how Rohidas sir does. taking it out like a butterfly, not very successful at times, but 1 or 2 years. So yes, your dexterity is going to improve as you go by your cases. So you have to spend a lot of time seeing cases. You have to spend a lot of time with your mentor. Don't shy away from managing your complications, dural tears, insufficient decompression. Always have a backup plan. Always be ready to convert to open rather than accepting an inadequate MIS. Yes, build up. I think Destandau is the cheapest system to begin with and with the least recurring cost. I know of them that they have their sets for 15 of years. So, and it's also the most versatile of all, I'll say. In the panel discussion yesterday, when there was a big fight as to what to approach, how to approach and what tools to choose, I think Rohidas sir's answer was always, I'll go with Destandau, Destandau and Destandau. And he's right, I think you can approach central, paracentral, foraminal, extraforaminal, up migrated, down migrated, everything with this. So, yes, buy good camera, you have 3D and 4K immersive displays now. You have a good depth perception, do capacity building, record your surgeries. Many a times when you see your surgeries again, when at night, I mean, you catch many things which you feel that I might have done wrong, and I can improvise there. So that's how you improve. So with that, I'll like to conclude.